Hey there, Diane Conklin with Complete Marketing Systems and Diane'sDozen.com. Time for a Thursday's tidbit. This one might be a little longer. I noticed Monday was a holiday, and I was a little under the weather last week, so I didn't get in Thursday's tidbit. But this is not what I planned on talking about, but this is just so interesting to me. So, as most of you know, I live in Metro Atlanta and have for a long time, 20 plus years. And here, I'm from Ohio. And so in Ohio, growing up, we had blizzards and storms and snow and whatever all the time. And they have all the stuff to deal with it, right? Because they get it more often than we get it here in the South. Well, in case you don't know, there's a big weather front coming across the country, and we're supposed to get the possibility of some of it starting tomorrow. Well, start Saturday and Sunday, really. But the point of it is this. So, there's a possibility of ice. And it's interesting now as the weather and meteorologists get more advanced. It's almost like watching a hurricane when I lived in Florida, right? For 2 weeks, people watch and make adjustments and all these different things. But it was interesting. I went to the grocery this morning on purpose. I didn't really need anything. I've got, enough non-perishables to last me several days, and certainly longer than it's going to be cold here, because in 2 or 3 days it's going to be melted, right? But there's this thing that sets in Atlanta that is like this panic a couple days before an ice storm or snow is supposed to get, and this happens in other parts of the country, but true to form, there were no bananas, very few eggs, very little bread, almost no juice. And the eggs and juice kind of got me because those are definitely not non-perishable and require refrigeration. But anyway, I'm laughing at it because yesterday I saw somebody post that she always kept 5 to 7 days worth of non-perishables, and somebody else commented, well, that's nice that you have the storage room to do that. And I sort of chuckled because, where there's a will, there's a way. There's always a box that you could get, or one of those plastic tubs, and fill it up with some canned goods. But anyway, and stick it in a corner of your house somewhere. And then somebody else posted later in a separate post that they were mad because they worked all day and they'd gone to the store and all these things were out. How dare people who had nothing to do hoard all the groceries? And it just makes me laugh because both of those comments make me laugh because, it's the same in business. We don't want to prepare and we don't want to plan ahead, and then we panic when things aren't available or things takes longer or that cost more or whatever. And there are a lot of tools now in business that we didn't have even 4 or 5 years ago that help us, right? AI is certainly one of them that can significantly reduce the time frame. There's certainly things I'm sure probably you could still order online and have food stuff delivered. I don't know if they don't have it in the store. I don't know how that works, right? But my point is, because people don't plan ahead, it's winter. There's a possibility of ice and snow here. It doesn't happen very often, but it's winter. Like, stock up a little bit. During hurricane season, the joke in our neighborhood always was, and with my friends always was, everyone's going to Diane's house because, she's got this pantry full of canned goods. Well, yeah, I do, because especially during hurricane season, which is like 6 months in Florida, you never know, right? And yeah, you usually have notice, and sometimes you get notice here about things, but things happen. And I just never, maybe this comes from growing up on a farm. Maybe it comes from living in Florida. Maybe it's a combination of all those things. But I think growing up on the farm where, we couldn't just run up the store and, 5 minutes and get stuff. It was the 20, 30-minute turnaround, one way. And so I grew up in this family where we had extra freezers and all those kinds of things, and mom canned and all that. But here's the point. The point is that when you plan and when you prepare, you're not caught off guard, and you don't have to go into this panic mode, right? Oh my gosh, how am I going to feed my kids? They're going to be home for 3 days. And it's the same in business. Oh my gosh, this just came up, or oh, this didn't work the way we wanted it to, or oh, there's a new thing coming out. What do I need to know about it? And so here's the thing: when you have a plan, and I do this every year with my, certainly with my top level clients and And sometimes we'll host a live event. I didn't do the live event part this year. I just did it with my top clients. But we planned the entire year, 2026. I have my calendar all laid out. And what that allows me to do and allows my clients to do is it allows them to say, you know what, this is going on. There's a storm over here, right? COVID's coming. We've already planned for it. We already have everything we need. We already have, our plans in place for what's going to happen. The storm is coming up over here. Things are changing. AI has changed business, but it doesn't affect me because I've already planned for that, because we looked ahead and we saw it coming, right? And so it creates this sort of calm in a time of storm. It creates you having already laid out your plans. Now, look, plans are written in pencil, right? Not in a pen, not in pen. They're not in, they're not written in ink. So you have to be flexible, even when you do have a plan. I'm not saying don't be flexible. I'm not saying don't change things. But when you have a plan, when you have supplies, and you know that you're okay for a little while, a few days, a month, whatever it is, this quarter, things look different. And so I'm just encouraging you to look at, do you have a plan for the rest of the year? I mean, it's the 22nd of January. We have 11 months left. I mean, we're a month in. Are you 1/10 of the way to your goals? Did you even set goals? I talked to somebody yesterday, asked him what his goal was for a program that he had purchased, and he said he didn't have any. Well, that'll get you far, right? That's going to get you where you want to go. That's another discussion. But if you need help putting together a plan, if you need help with your map, right, which I call your marketing action plan, reach out. Let me know. I'd love to talk to you about, what your plan looks like for the rest of the year. And look, while we make the plan for the year, we work in a 90-day time frame, because you can't really work 6 months ahead, but you can work inside of that 90 days. And we can look at what's going to happen. So if you want that, if you're looking at that, reach out, let me know, reply wherever you're seeing this. And, if you live in Metro and you need to go to the store, you better get there. I'm sure we'll all be fine, even if the electricity goes out for a couple days. Enjoy the rest of your Thursday. Have a great weekend. Until next time, we'll see you then.